Hello everyone, I'm Megha Prasad. Now, the explosion of anger in India towards Maldives happened in the last 48 hours, but the trouble between the two neighbors has been simmering since September last year, that is, for the past 5 months. It all started when a man called Mohammad Muizzu was elected the president of Maldives on 30th September 2023. Since then, India-Maldives diplomatic ties have hit the choppy waters. Now, coming from a political party that has leanings towards China and having been mentored by the former president Abdullah Yameen, who was known to be very close to the Chinese dispensation Xi, Mohammad Muizzu, as expected, towed the same line. In fact, his entire political campaign for the presidentship was based on the promise that he would oust India from Maldivian soil if elected to power. When that happened, he took it as an endorsement of his Oust India campaign. His rallies, the posters, the jersey he would wear all carried messages deriding India. So it was not a surprise when, post his oath-taking ceremony on 17th of November 2023, he made a formal request to India to remove its military presence from Maldives. Now, before moving ahead, I want to quickly take you through what we know about what is being termed as India's military presence in Maldives. As per reports, India doesn't really have any military presence in the island nation. What it actually has are some defense personnel who are there to manage the helicopters and an aircraft that India had donated to Maldives. Let me quote from an article written by veteran foreign affairs journalist Shishir Gupta in the Hindustan Times. He says, and I quote, "What India has in the Maldives are a couple of ALH helicopters and a Dornier aircraft used for medical evacuation, surveillance and air rescue operations." So I wasn't really astonished when objectionable and offensive statements came from three ministers of the Muizzu government against India and our Prime Minister Modi. But what couldn't be explained was the unprovoked reaction in this case. I mean, till then, the only thing that had happened, and it wasn't even connected to Maldives, was just a harmless photo shoot of Prime Minister Modi at the pristine beaches of Lakshadweep in an attempt to promote tourism at this beautiful union territory of ours. This photo cum video shoot took the internet by storm, and the worldwide search interest for Lakshadweep hit its highest in the last 20 years, in the last 2 decades, that too by a huge margin. This sudden spike in interest for Lakshadweep was perhaps the direct outcome of just few hours spent by Prime Minister Modi there. Now, this is what irked the Maldives ministers, one of whom called Prime Minister Modi a puppet of Israel. The other mocked us for some Indian urinating in the open and called it as our culture, comparing India to cow dung. And the third said that Indians were delusional to even compare Lakshadweep with Maldives. And that was it. The mistake these ministers made was to think that they would get away with these derogatory remarks. What they could not anticipate was the unprecedented Indian social media backlash towards their country. Every prominent voice in India, from Amitabh Bachchan to Sachin Tendulkar to top industrialists, just about everybody who mattered here spoke. Bollywood celebrities who have heavily endorsed Maldives as a tourist destination in the last 3 years were the most vocal. Hashtag boycott Maldives kept trending and perhaps is still trending. Meanwhile, as per the sources, the Indian High Commissioner to Maldives, Monu Mahavar, lodged a protest with the government in Malé. By evening, the Muizzu government bowed to the extreme pressure they found themselves under and suspended all the three ministers with immediate effect and put out a clarification, distancing themselves from the anti-India remark, calling them personal opinion of the concerned individuals. The statement from the government of Maldives read, and I'm quoting here, "The government of Maldives is aware of the derogatory remarks on social media platforms against foreign leaders and high-ranking individuals. These opinions are personal and do not represent the views of the government of Maldives." Unquote. Within 24 hours, that is on 8th of January, the Ministry of External Affairs in India summoned the Maldivian High Commissioner Ibrahim Sahib to register this strong objection over the derogatory remarks about Prime Minister Modi. And then came the actual blow. The second biggest travel portal in India, Ease My Trip, announced that they will not be taking any bookings for Maldives anymore. This was soon followed by the biggest Indian travel portal, Make My Trip, informing that there has been a 3,400% increase in on-platform searches for Lakshadweep ever since Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit. And because of this surge in interest in Indian beaches, they now have launched Beaches of India campaign on the platform with offers and discounts to encourage Indian travelers to explore country's stunning beaches and perhaps not look towards Maldives. And this is bound to hit Maldives where it hurts. 1/4 of its economy is driven by tourism, and India happens to be the primary source of tourists, with over 3 lakh Indians traveling to Maldives every year. One foolish step by the members of the Maldivian government has perhaps costed them a huge dent in their tourist revenue, which will affect the livelihood of common people in a not-so-rich country. While India has always stood by Maldives and been the first responder in times of crisis, whether it was about providing vaccines, free vaccines, mind you, during COVID, or even providing drinking water, if you remember the 2014 water crisis, severe water shortage that Maldives was reeling under, or even making available credit worth $1.3 billion to that country, it is crucial for India to continue its influential position in the island nation. Why do I say that? 3 important reasons. First, the strategic location of Maldives in the Indian Ocean. To ward off the increasing intrusion of China in the Indian Ocean region. The maritime route that crosses very close to Maldives and handles the bulk of trade in this part of the world. These are the 3 reasons. But President Moizu currently is in China on his first state visit after taking over. He has broken the tradition and decided to say hello to the Chinese government before he comes to India. There are expectations of some important announcement in the joint statement, but what remains to be seen is how this new government in Maldives decides to go ahead vis-a-vis India. Will Moizu work towards strengthening the long-standing relationship that the country shares with India, which looks unlikely, or will the equation take a nosedive? They have just got a taste of what it means to even unwittingly take on India, so one hopes they would have learned the lesson. Though I strongly feel that we still have not heard the last of this diplomatic tension between the 2 countries. Perhaps there's more to come. Thanks for watching.